Hello folks, it's me, Mandy, from the ultra popular 200 views series Mandy and Me with DolfanDale. I'm kind of a big deal, just saying. But anyway, I'm stuck in traffic. Let me see. You see all that? So I thought I would share some fun facts with you guys. Did you know that the very first long playing vinyl record came out in the 1930s? And oddly enough, that is the same year that your host, Mr. DolfanDale, was born. And he's been playing records ever since, until he discovered CDs, right? So he's kind of 1 foot in the 21st century, 1 foot out, because he's playing around with CDs right now. And I just got him turned on to Zach Bryan. All right, everybody sit down, sit down. We don't need a standing ovation right now, okay? I'm not even live, okay? Sit down, take a seat. Zach Bryan is coming up on DolfanDale.
Hey folks, DolfanDale here, and how about a Super Bowl free-for-all? Let's just get crazy with it, because I got everything. I got some heavy metal, I got some gospel, you can see from the intro I got some country, I've got comics, I've got CDs, I've got records, and not just 12-inch records, got a 7-inch record for you. Yeah. We're just going to be all over the place, and we're going to talk some football. We'll throw some football in here. Just have fun with it. Just hanging out. Aretha's right to my left. She's hanging out. I'm not sure what she wants, but that's okay. So I got kind of an odd size package in the mail several weeks ago, and it was from Garage Geek. I didn't recognize his name right away. I was thinking, man, who is this? Where's this package come from? That's not a record. No, it had a couple of comics and a CD in it. And, man, Garage Geek, go check out his channel. It's a great channel, down to earth, just shows a lot of fun stuff. That's mainly what it is. It's a fun channel, and yeah, go check him out. Thank you, Garage Geek, for sending this. He didn't, he was purging his collection and was giving a bunch of stuff away to people, and yeah, so there were a few items that I thought, well, if nobody else is going to ask for it, I'll ask for it. So that's what I did. First up, we got a Jimi Hendrix compilation, some works that are more blues-based, so it's called Jimi Hendrix Blues. And who doesn't want some Jimi Hendrix in their collection? I've got some, but I'll take some more. So he sent that. He sent me one comic book he just threw in there, and that was the Superman issue. Superman fighting a kaiju. Man, and I love kaiju. Godzilla right there behind me. Huge Godzilla fan, and actually before Godzilla, I was a huge Ultraman fan. So, something like this, right up my alley. And then finally he sent me this book. Gotta love it. Batman Chronicles. Some very early Batman. And I'm a huge Batman fan. If you couldn't tell. Yeah, I've got Batman all over the place in here. So, I was really thrilled to get this. So thank you, Garage Geek. So let's go ahead and talk some football. First of all, right over here in the now playing display is Terry Bradshaw. And that is kind of a little homage, I guess, maybe to back to the days when I started watching football. My stepdad was a big Steelers fan. So we got Terry Bradshaw over here, 4-time Super Bowl champ. Don't have a whole lot of football players on vinyl, but I picked that up because my stepdad, Clarence Hartman, I called him Jigs. He was from just outside Pittsburgh, huge Steeler fan, and yeah. So thinking a little bit about him today. Just went down and visited his grave a couple weeks ago, and yeah. So my public service announcement today is if you get a chance to watch football with your old man, go ahead and do it. Have a good time. Give each other a hard time. And just take in the moment because they go on you. And Jigs passed back in 95, which, nearly 30 years. I'd give anything to be able to sit down and watch another football game with them. Yeah. So, and this hat I may have had since I was a little kid. Isn't that gotta love these Dolphin throwback. Well, I guess it wasn't throwback when I got it, but yeah. Great uniforms. So while we're talking about that, let's talk a little bit about this guy, Larry Zalka. This is a record kind of highlighting the Dolphins 71 season. Today he'll be walking out. This was 2 years before he was the MVP of Super Bowl VIII. So Zalka will be walking the Lombardi Trophy out to the stage in honor of the 50th anniversary of him being the most valuable player of Super Bowl VIII. So, love some Larry Zalka. And now, how about some VCLT? Football-related VCLT. So, Logan from Murmur Than Hell, another great vinyl community channel, reached out to me and said, hey, I want to send you a record. Here it is. And when I saw it, I thought, I didn't even know he had put out a record. Because this guy was a member of the Miami Dolphins back when I started watching football and collecting football cards and that kind of thing. So, very excited about opening this up. Now, who is it? So, who is this album by? Well, by a gentleman named Tim Foley. And when I mentioned that to the guy that I work with at, the security guard where I work, he said, is he related to Mick? No, he's not related to Mick, I don't think. But he was a good defensive back. I think he made the Pro Bowl once. Very solid. I have no idea what to expect out of this album. But yeah, here we go. Tim Foley. Now That I Found You. Let's get it out of that sleeve. Here it is without that plastic. Good picture of Tim on the back. So I'm looking at the back and I really don't know what to expect from this record. I think it's going to be more rock or pop. Does anybody know who Mac Frampton is? He seems to be all over this album. But it does have trumpet, trombone, harp, flute, and sax. So I'm guessing that it's not going to be like a country album or anything. Yeah, I really don't know what to expect. Here is the record in the inner sleeve. Got lyrics on it. Looks like Tim has written most of the material on here. That's impressive, I suppose. Tim Foley custom center rings. Look at that. All right. So very excited about this record and very curious. Like I said, I mean, Tim was a solid cornerback for the Dolphins for quite a few years. And when I started collecting football cards, he was always in the sets. And then, of course, you always hear his name called during the games as he's making tackles or what have you. And, yeah, so very, very cool to get this. Thank you, Logan, for thinking of me when you found out he was a Miami Dolphin. I really appreciate it. So let's talk some heavy metal. So I got a private message from Scott Waters saying, and he had a link saying you need to pick this up. And Scott's so knowledgeable about metal, I really trust him, so I jumped on it. And this is from the band Vardis. And I don't get a lot of 7-inches, but when they're, and definitely not a lot of metal or hard rock 7-inch singles, because they are really hard to find. So glad for the heads up from Scott on this. And I don't know Vardis, but I plan on it. I've already been doing some research, looking for some CDs to pick up. So thanks again for the heads up, Scott. This band, I picked up a CD from them because Girder Records is getting ready to start an imprint called Backbreaker Records. And I guess it's going to be more mainstream metal bands. This one's from Metal Blade. This is Battlecross. War of Will is the name of the CD. Killer album. Maybe you can see that track listing. I am thrilled that they're not going with this cover. Instead, the cover on the album is going to be the cover on the booklet, which I think is much, much better. But yeah, I'll be looking to pick up some of the Battlecross reissues. They're already up for pre-sale on Girder Music. Then from Rox Records, I picked up Martyr's Cry. This is a 4-song EP. And if you look close, you can see mine was numbered 9 of 100. It's very cool that it was signed. This was kind of a blind buy, but I trust Rox Records, and I picked it up, and it's good. Now, from that incredible intro, you'll see that I got some, I call it country music, and I guess it's the categories he's falling in, but I think his music kind of transcends country, and it's got a lot of, I mean, to me, it would sound good on a playlist with early Springsteen, maybe some John Cougar, and I'm talking about Zach Bryan. So Mandy loves Zach Bryan so much, she sent me, through Amazon, she sent me this was, I think, album before his latest. What is this called? American Heartbreak? Yeah. Some great music on here. Fantastic songwriter. You know, great songs like Somewhere in the Orange. This is a very ambitious project. This is actually 2 CDs. And so it's a it's a good little project. I mean, he wasn't cutting corners on this one. So this is good. And then of course I got the new one, Zach Bryan. Let me pull that out. Amazon, the one thing they did get wrong was they cracked my jewel case. I'll fix that up, but there's the cover of this one. We'll warn folks with small children that you may not want to play Zach. You might want to be careful playing Zach around them. He does use a little colorful language. But his songwriting is just, I guess he takes a very intimate approach to songwriting. So the songs that are coming from him are kind of get below the surface to a deeper kind of reality. It's very, these sound like conversations that you'd have with somebody close, and maybe even just more of your private thoughts too. But once they're put out there, then people can realize, hey, somebody else feels exactly the way I do. But so, you know, you gotta love that kind of songwriting that really gets at how we're living. And so yeah, I'm enjoying Zach Bryan a lot. Love the sound. Well, I like both approaches he takes. Some songs are more stripped back and sparse, you know, just acoustic guitar. Some are more fleshed out, and I love that sound as well. So I do plan on, I've been looking for some of his earlier works, and maybe somebody in the comments can tell me, why are his earliest albums harder to find, even just on CD? I mean, I wasn't looking for it on vinyl. Just trying to get some of those really early albums on CD, they're not easy to get a hold of. So somebody out there knows why, let me know. One last thing before I take off out of here, try to get this edited and uploaded. I never did give my Super Bowl pick. We'll do that at the very end. The final pickup is I can't really call it a grail because I didn't know it existed. But when I saw it, I thought, ooh, I really need to grab that copy. And that's this. This is Russ Taff's Under Their Influence. It doesn't have a cover. It's on the Epic label. Now, back when they were doing albums like, I think Under Their Influence came out in either 89 or 90. No, it was 1990. And at that point, I guess we were so CD eccentric at that point that they weren't even pressing a lot of albums like this over here to vinyl. I've got a copy of this album on the Morreale label, but it is a UK pressing. So this does leave a little bit of mystery to me. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but on that label it does say, I believe it says promo. Yeah, demonstration, not for sale. So who are they sending these out to is what I don't understand. So if you're not selling vinyl on this album, if you're mainly doing CDs here in the States, and unless you're sending this to Christian radio, I don't know who you'd be sending it to. Because, and if it was Christian radio, wouldn't you just send singles? I don't know. Maybe it was more economically efficient for them to send out albums. This album did win a Grammy, and it beat out DC Talk's Jesus Freak for that Grammy for Best Album that year. I think it was rock album. I'm not sure. But so here's my plan of what I'm going to do with this record. I'm going to pair it up, and I've never shown this before, but it was one of the few kind of DIY projects that I've done. And I went to a printer. Well, I guess it's not really DIY because I did go to a printer. All right, and I took the copy I have, and I had 2 copies at that time that I wanted to give to that my buddy Dave gave to me, and I thought, well, I should make these really good gifts for somebody. But neither one of them had good covers, so I took my cover to a printer and had them recreate the cover. Now, so it'd be a little bit more than just an album flat. I decided to steal an idea from Rock's Records. Rock's had an underground series called, it was an underground series, Rock's Underground, and they used what's called the J card. So I had it where it's got this flap, and then I had a picture put on the other side. So one of the copies that I gave it to Russ Taff, who is the artist on this record. Dave and I go down there every year, so Russ and his wife Tori both know us. And I just wanted him to have the record, and I put the picture of us there. And just kind of, when I gave it to Russ, I just told him, I said, you've been such an influence on guys like me and Dave. I just put that picture on there for you. I didn't know if you had a copy because it wasn't sold over here. I do consider this to be the greatest album ever recorded, and I'll make my arguments for it. So, but yeah. So I was really thrilled to get that epic copy. It kind of threw me off at first because when mainstream labels first started carrying Christian or gospel records, it was usually A&M. But that switched in 1990 when that came out, and Epic started putting them out. So anyway, being the Russ Taff nut, that particular album it's just cool to have, and so that's what we've got. Finally, my Super Bowl pick. We've got 2 good teams. We've got. I was listening to somebody talk about how perfectly put together the 49ers are. They really don't have any weak spots. But if they were that great, then why is the only reason they're there because the Lions couldn't bring themselves to kick a field goal? I think the Chiefs are peaking at the right time. I think Mahomes is doing things that only Mahomes does. I think they're going to win this Super Bowl. Yeah. And people are going to talk about that 49er defense. Don't sleep on the Chiefs defense. They're awfully good. They carried this team. And now I feel like they're just playing better in all phases of the game. I'm going with the Chiefs as my pick to be this year's Super Bowl champs. So I guess we'll know in a few hours whether or not I'm right or not. But yeah, I'm saying the Chiefs are going to win. I don't really have a dog in this fight. It won't hurt my feelings if the 49ers win. Though I will say, with all the crying that people are doing over Taylor Swift, part of me would like to see the Chiefs win, and Travis Kelce can maybe they'll play a little Taylor Swift over the intercom for them as they're giving out the Super Bowl trophy. So, anyway, thanks for coming in. I hope you're having a great time this weekend and enjoy that football game. And yeah, until we do this again, peace.